Hello, hockey fans. Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher, along with Jerry Burrow. Good morning, Jerry.
Morning.
Or maybe it's
afternoon.
It is afternoon, yeah. It's hockey season, and we're here to talk hockey, Minnesota hockey in particular. UMD Bulldogs lost to Western Michigan on Saturday night, 5-0, a night that they retired the jersey of
Kurt Giles.
Kurt Giles, with the greatest hip check in all of hockey. And they lost 5-0 after beating them 3-0 Friday night.
It's a weird game.
What happened?
It's a weird game. I think these teams in the NCHC are so even from top to bottom that you can't predict any game. And
Denver swept St. Cloud State.
yeah, and they did a good job.
You were at the games.
Yep, I was out in Denver.
Denver.
Boy, what a team. When they're disciplined, I think this is the team to beat all the way to the top. Another national champion, I see.
The Minnesota Hockey Connection now has a budget and allows Jerry to go to Denver.
Great. Thank you for the budget.
Yeah.
Releasing it at least.
So UMD, again, Friday night, 3-0 win over Western Michigan, and then just fell flat Saturday, 5-0 loss at Amsoil. That's going to be one of the worst losses in Amsoil in a long time.
Right. Didn't the opening with North Dakota, wasn't that something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 5-0.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And we broke a piece of glass. One of the glass.
Yeah. Mike Connolly.
Yes.
Yeah. Opening game.
Yes.
In the arena. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
All that can happen?
They have a photograph of the glass being shattered. I actually have a piece of the glass.
Really?
Yeah.
I was walking around on the other side talking to some people, and I didn't get back to the press box yet, and all of a sudden I saw it happen. Holy, what the
It's one of those odd things.
Brand new stadium, brand new glass, and shattered.
Well, let's talk about Kurt Giles. Kurt Giles played here at UMD from the Pas, Winnipeg, or Manitoba rather, way north of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And came here and played for UMD in the late 70s. What was his, didn't he have some, was he in the Olympic team? One of the Olympic teams?
I'm not sure of that.
International play? But he became a Minnesota North Star, and then he bounced to a couple of other teams, the Rangers, and wherever else. 14 years in the NHL. You know, I heard his name come up, and I thought...
It's amazing when he's that small, too.
He wasn't a big guy.
No, he's only about 5'7" at the most.
He's still not a big guy. But he was just able to... He had an awesome hip check.
A human bowling ball, I call him.
There you go. I like that. Kurt Giles, a stalwart on defense for the Minnesota North Stars for so many years. Now, he didn't wear number 4 for the North Stars because Craig Hartsburg had that number.
There you go.
What was his number as
I'm
a
not sure.
NHLer? I don't recall.
Think now.
But Kurt Giles, number 4, retired another number on the rafters along with Billy Watson, Huffer Christensen, Glenn Resch. Am I missing a retired number?
Brett Hall.
Brett Hall.
Yeah.
That guy. Yes.
So did you watch Kurt during his days here at UMD? I was in California.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've been a Bulldog fan since the days.
So you saw a lot of games with him then?
Well, I don't know about a lot, but back then my grandfather brought me to games. I went with friends and stuff. Sure, we watched Kurt through the years. You bet.
Who else was good on those teams with Kurt?
Oh, what was that again? 1975, right around there. Oh gosh, were those the days of Walt Ettingham? Maybe Murray.
I think
Keoghan?
Walt was a little earlier.
Yeah,
I was still
I think
here.
so.
I was still here, and Walt was playing.
I'd have to look at the roster and
okay.
check out who were some of the players, but yeah, he. I remember him being a guy that he wasn't Jared Spurgeon, who's a small guy,
right.
a defenseman, but Jared is kind of like tiny this way and this way. Kurt kind of had some stockiness to him.
He had stockiness. He
had a little bulk
still has
to
that,
him.
man.
Had a little girth to
like
him.
You didn't want to make him mad.
No, and he looked mean. He looked angry. He'd give you that smile, and he had those teeth that were rearranged from years of hockey. And I don't know. I never wanted to mess with Kurt Giles.
It's kind of funny how these Canadians come down here, go to school. They love to stay here.
Yeah.
So after his career in the National Hockey League, he became the coach at Edina.
Yeah.
And, man, he's done a great job there. And he's got that program the way you don't mess with Kurt down
No,
there.
did he replace the legend Eddie Dina?
No, there's another coach there that came from Rosal. God, I can't think. I think it's Olson.
Okay.
Some coach there a little bit.
Not Lund.
No.
All right.
But then Kurt took over.
And refresh our memory, the legend that I'm referencing is he donned the cap.
Ikola.
Ikola.
Ikola. That's
you.
it.
Thank
Why
you.
I say Ikola?
You know. So the UMD Bulldogs, after a win and a loss to Western Michigan, retiring number 4 for Kurt Giles, will play at Miami. Oh, it's going to be warm.
Oof.
They go to Miami of Ohio. And that is coming up this weekend, and then the Bulldogs will play. They must have a tournament coming up. What's this one game with Minnesota State, November 25th?
I don't know why it's one. Do they?
The schedule shows.
I think they play another game later on in the season, maybe.
November 25th is a Saturday. One game
after
at Amsoil
Thanksgiving.
Arena.
Do you show later on at Mankato at all?
And they show, obviously, that's a non-conference
There's a Minnesota
game.
State there, isn't there? Right there?
At Minnesota State, so that's what they're doing, huh?
One game,
They're
huh?
doing one game on the 25th of November, and then they'll be at Minnesota State January 23rd. So,
Right.
boy, I don't remember seeing that on the schedule before.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Usually they go home and home right away the same weekend.
And then they'll be off for a while, and then they'll host December 1st and 2nd. I guess it's not that long. It's the following weekend. They'll host Denver.
Yeah, that Denver team, I tell you what, they probably got the 3 best centers in college hockey. And this number 5 for Denver, Finlander, Hendrik Borkstrom, he was going against one of the Palings from St. Cloud State, the 3 brothers.
Yeah.
But Ryan was drafted in the first round about the same time, and this Borkstrom, he was drafted in the first round too. So they had 2 first-rounders going against each other.
Nice.
You know? Yeah, but those centers for Denver are amazing. So it was just fun to watch them. You know, their hands are so soft, and how they pass the puck, and this is a good team, and that good coach.
Had you been in the press box there before?
Yeah, many years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, many years ago. But I like this Denver team, and I think that's going to be the team to beat. And it shows in the polls now that Denver's number 1 again. They came back up after losing to Western Michigan last weekend. So Denver's number 1, but they kept St. Cloud State. I was kind of surprised at number 2. And after losing like that. St. Cloud State, their problem was in the penalty box all week.
Okay.
And plus, when they were on the power play, they couldn't score. I think they were 1 out of 11 or 12.
All right.
So they couldn't do anything on the power play, and then they were in the box, and Denver was scoring on the power play.
Well, the USCHO results: Denver number 1, St. Cloud number 2.
Right, and then we got North Dakota number 3. So we got 3 NCHC teams. 1, 2, 3.
Nice. Notre Dame 4th, Minnesota State 5th.
Yeah, they've been playing good hockey, and it must be real because in the pairwise they're 4. So that's good to see a Minnesota team, another one that's doing real good.
The Gophers, they're 7th in the polling.
Right, they had a lot. It was kind of a funny series they had over in Michigan, and the first game, I think, there was a lot of goals scored, and then Saturday night it was 6-6, and they went to a shootout. Michigan won in the overtime period, someone scored, but then they had a shootout, so both games went to overtime. So that 2 close games.
Okay.
So, but Minnesota is playing a lot better hockey this year so far overall.
So is Wisconsin. The Badgers are their top 10 team.
Right. Well, they just made number 9 in USCHO, but let's see, what are they? 26 though in the pairwise. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes. The team that I liked was Harvard, number 13 in the USCHO. 51 in the pairwise.
Yeah, that's
it's too early in the season.
No,
they played some.
no,
they
it's
played
not.
some weak.
That's
They played some weak teams and lost.
yeah.
They only played about 5 games so far. That's
Okay.
another reason.
Minnesota Duluth, surprisingly 14. Is that a little bit?
I think it's a little high.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they have in the pairwise for them? 27. I think they're out by the pairwise number.
Where do you think? Where do the Bulldogs end up at the end of the season? Do you think they're going to be able to maintain some type of?
I'll tell you what, they got to go on this road and get Miami before Miami starts getting good, because that coach gets that team a lot better team at the second half of the season every year, and but because they got Denver coming in, they got Denver twice, so 4 games with Denver. They got St. Cloud State again. They got North Dakota coming in.
Yep.
And I mean, these are top 3 teams in the nation. You know.
How's Omaha doing?
Omaha's in the USCHO, they're probably about 23rd, but they got them 13 in pairwise, so they're not doing bad. Yeah, so they got. I mean, this is a tough league, and I think they got their work cut out. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, Shepard's played some good hockey, but then he's had some few bad games too. But he's played about 4 games in the last 8 where he's been excellent.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be an issue for the Bulldogs the entire season. I don't think they're going to have a shutdown go-to goalie, but we'll see. But
plus, they can't have injuries when you have such a young team, because they got to get experience. And
do they have some injuries? Or?
Yeah, they had some injuries lately. So we'll see. And hey, the Wild are the same thing. You know, their goaltending, and Dubnyk last 2 games shut him down. You know, but there's other games he doesn't. What the heck's going on here? So
pretty amazing. The Wild had their 6-game homestand, longest homestand of the season. They went 3-3, and then they traveled on the road to Boston and lost. They went to Toronto and lost.
Right.
Then they went to Montreal, and they shut them out 3-0.
Right.
And with a day off, they traveled to Philadelphia, and they shut them out 1-0 this past Saturday. And Jason Zucker has scored all the goals for the Wild in the last 2 games.
Zucker scored all 3 against Montreal?
He had the hat trick in Montreal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't know he had the hat trick.
Yeah.
Okay.
A natural hat trick, all in the 3rd period.
No wonder he was given Player of the Week in the National Hockey League.
There you go. Minnesota Wild, what are they, 7-7, I believe. They're about 500. They will host Philadelphia Tuesday night at XL Energy Center. A short 2-game homestand. They'll have Nashville come to town on Thursday, looks like the 16th, and then they'll be at Washington on Saturday the 16th, and then they'll have New Jersey here a week from Monday on the 20th.
Right. So, what do you like about the Wild so far?
Well, that's a good question. I think that they still have, a good coaching staff that will keep them somewhat on an even keel. I like Jason Zucker. I like his scoring touch. You still have Eric Stahl there, and Zach Parise is a question mark. I think you pencil Zach out for a while. I don't know that he comes back and is even effective if he comes back. He's going to be recovering here from back surgery.
Yeah, you can't bring him back too soon. Just like any injury, sometimes they come back too soon, and especially with knees and stuff like that. You're tweak it again, and then you're done for the season or something.
Matt Cullen, he seems to be doing okay.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Being paid for.
Yeah, winning face-offs and getting an occasional goal.
And penalty kill.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's what he does, and that's what he does best. I don't know, maybe we can count this as his final season. We'll see. But, the Wild, they're 500, and they're playing that way.
Right.
I think that it's just kind of a wait and see with this team, but, I hope
they got to start doing better at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I can handle the 500 for now on the road. I mean, they got to get a little better on the road, too. You should be about 60% on the road and about 75% at home, But so far, they're not doing that. But it's still early, but they can't wait too long, because there's a lot of teams that are doing a lot better than the Wild in their division.
How about this Vegas team?
I think they'll come down to normal.
They got a good roster, though. Yeah. They've got a good lineup.
Yeah, you get a you're getting a top 10 player from every team, you know.
Yeah.
And you can, if you get the chemistry, they can work with you. No, but you need a goaltender.
Yeah.
You need a goaltender.
Speaking of goaltenders, Hunter Miska was called up by the Arizona Coyotes.
He played a game, didn't he?
They finally got a couple of wins out there in Arizona, but that team is struggling. Attendance-wise, Carolina is so far down below the rest of the NHL. You know, I never thought that it would work in Carolina. It's been going on there now for...
That was the Hartford team, wasn't it?
15, 16 years.
Was that the Hartford team that went down
longer.
there? The Hartford Railers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's amazing because that area is booming.
But it's not a hockey area, Chair.
Yeah.
It's NASCAR, basketball.
But a lot of times there's Canadians that move down.
I mean, having said that, they went to the Stanley Cup. They drew well. They had they lost to Detroit in the Stanley Cup, but then they beat Edmonton. So they've had good teams down there.
Right.
Attendance has been good.
Cullen won a Stanley Cup there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Cullen. I'll never forget that Stanley Cup, Carolina and Edmonton. And who was Edmonton's goaltender? Rolly the goalie, Dwayne Rollison.
Oh, that we had.
And he got hurt in game 1. And I'll never forget, Coach McTavish went to the presser and he says, our goalie's out. It's not good. He's out. And I thought, out for a game, out for good? He was out for good. And I can't remember the backup that came in, but yeah.
So sad. Hey, guess what today is?
It's
a holiday.
It's a holiday where?
It's a holiday in Minnesota.
Oh, all right.
Don't you know what it is?
I haven't started celebrating yet, but...
Come on, high school practice starts. Boys hockey.
Of course.
This is it.
Jeez.
How can you forget?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Today's the day, and then we'll find out who comes back and who stays out in juniors, and then we can...
I'll have to go home and bang the pots and pans.
Oh, yeah, celebrate. This is
All
it.
right.
Oh, my heart's beating too high right now. I got to take some medication.
Okay, settle down, Chair. Deep breaths.
Yeah, today's the big day, and then within 2 weeks, almost all the teams will start their first game.
Speaking of high school hockey, we were scheduled to have head coach up at Cloquet, Kevin Smalley, but he was unable to make it. He had to work.
Yeah, he said he had to work a couple extra hours. But we'll have Kevin on the next couple of weeks, and Coach Randolph from Duluth East, and then we're going to try to get the new Denfield High School coach for the boys.
Dale Jago.
Yeah.
You know, for some reason, I thought he was a local guy, but he's from Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, they come down here and they stay.
Yeah. Well, what? Any updates on high school hockey?
Well, like I say, it's a big day because tryouts start for all the teams, and most teams don't even have to cut anyone because they don't have the numbers.
Denfeld would be one of those teams.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then I don't even think they're going to have JV again this year.
Yeah.
But I think next year they're trying to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't have the numbers. East, I'm going to go help out later on today, but I'm evaluating a few of the bubble kids.
Yeah.
And I think they only have about 6 kids to cut.
And this will be at Heritage? Or?
Yeah.
All right.
So both Denfield and East will be tryouts over at Heritage today. Each one has one of the rinks, so they switch and that. So I don't know which rink is who, but it's this is a good day because that means the season starts pretty soon.
A Minnesota holiday, the start of high school hockey practices.
There you go. And we had Coach Brendan Flaherty from Duluth Marshall, and we got some of these teams right here locally. They're going to be in their Hilltopper Classic tournament right after Christmas on the 27th, 28th, 29th at Mars Arena. And, you got Cloquet, which is going to be a great team this year. Hermantown, I'm going to start them out as number 1. I don't know if they'll end that way, but, they still have a strong team. And plus, Duluth Marshall. And 7AA, they have, most polls have 6 teams in 7AA in the top 20.
Jeez.
That's a strong section.
That's awesome.
They're going to have... My prediction is that East will be the top of that section, then Elk River, then I'll probably put Cloquet, then I'm gonna go with Duluth Marshall, and then there's, who else do I have left? Then I have Andover and Rapids,
Okay.
Grand Rapids. So
And what's going down in St. Cloud? Was there a change there? What was the change that took place in St. Cloud?
St. Cloud.
One of the teams move up or down a division, or did they close? Or one of the teams?
No, what happened last year? It happened.
Yeah.
Apollo and St. Paul Cloud Tech went
Merged.
together.
Ah, okay.
And so they're double A.
And is it Tech then? Is the team?
I think they just call it St. Cloud.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're both St. Cloud teams, so they just call
Yeah.
it. They don't want to say Apollo and they don't want to say Tech.
Huh. All right.
So I think that's all they put on there. So St. Cloud, I don't know if they have a different mascot or whatever, but then the St. Cloud Cathedral there stayed in A, where double A is the St. Cloud team. Plus, they're going to have Hockey Day Minnesota this year on January 20th, Saturday, January 20th.
Yeah, St. Cloud's going to host that this season, January of next year, and that's something that they're already working on, I'm sure. But my goodness, the UMD Bulldogs. Getting back to UMD and Kurt Giles, I was talking to some friends, and you remember when he played here? I said, well, yeah. And I got to thinking, yeah, that was around high school days for me, early high school days maybe even, but that was at a time when the deck was, before they even had glass around the boards, they used to have fencing, really. It was, a lot of people say chicken wire. It wasn't chicken wire. Chicken wire is kind of flimsy. This was an actual fencing. I don't know.
At the old curling club, they used to have some chicken wire.
The old curling club, the coldest place to play hockey in town.
It was colder in there than outside in the winter. The high schools, like Duluth Cathedral, went and practiced there at 5:30 in the morning.
They had an old style Zamboni, and that Zamboni would pull up to the end of the building. They'd open up this door, and right outside there went the ice shavings. And as young kids, we'd go behind the curling club into June, maybe July.
Find some pucks?
Make snowballs.
Didn't you find any pucks back there?
Oh, we always found pucks. You know where you find a lot of pucks is in the creek, Chester Creek, next to Lower Chester.
My slap shot got better, but I ran over pucks. They're in the creek.
There you go. What's taking place up at Lower Chester? That's Congdon's rink.
I have no idea. I heard someone talking about that. How their Congdon, like you said, was trying to use it a little bit. So I really don't know. I gotta check with. I'm gonna go over to the Heritage and Jason Watts, the Daha director, see what he knows. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Because that was our place that we went over. And when it got too crowded, I went back closer to home. It's Central Field.
Yeah. Boy, that really was. People that aren't familiar with what Lower Chester used to be, you can't even imagine how hustling and bustling it was. I played there, youth hockey there, and it was always busy. Always busy. And, those were the good old days. Geez, Jefferson Elementary used to have a pleasure rink. We'd skate at Jefferson.
Yeah.
All the schools had.
Well, look
rinks.
they had 37 different rinks that played youth hockey.
Is that what it was? 37?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing thinking about it now?
Park Point had a team. Lester River. They were just all over. Norton Park, Duluth Heights. I don't remember if Lower Chester had two teams.
Probably is only about 8 teams now.
When I played squirts up there, or bantams. But
Where'd you play skirts?
Bantams.
Where?
Lower Chester.
Okay.
Longview,
Yeah.
long gone.
Merritt, Irving.
I heard. Were we talking to? I don't remember where I heard this, but I asked somebody about Longview. I said, "What happened out there?" It was a hustling, bustling.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Tim Cortez, and I think he said that they were concerned about the tennis courts. It was causing some damage to the tennis courts, so they eliminated hockey. Yikes!
No, then they went to Glen Avon, huh? Everyone over in that area?
Glen Avon, to me, has always been kind of an isolated rink.
Yeah, you're
But
all,
they've maintained quite a legacy up there over the years.
oh yeah, they have the big They still have matches every year of alumni from there. From
Yeah.
Portman and
Yeah.
Glen Avon.
Yeah.
The classics back 20 years, 25
And they
years
always
ago.
had good teams back in my
Yeah.
day as well. But yeah, Glen Avon tucked away there in Woodland, right off of Woodland Avenue, really. Boy, it's been a long time since I've been up there in the winter.
There's another cold rink up there right above me, is the Freiburger.
Freiburger Rink, we played a lot of hockey there. We played a lot at the Peterson Arena. But as a matter of fact, my team photo,
Good ice.
1973-74 Lower Chester, that team photo was taken at Freiburger.
Yeah.
And boy, it's been a while since I've been in those rinks.
Well, talking about high school hockey still, I mean, Duluth East and Duluth Denfield play their games right at the Heritage Center. And people got to get down there. They've done so much more to that. They put all these, what do you call them, there's huge banners on the wall of the building. There's 8 of them.
Yeah.
And they're inside. Duluth Cathedral has a wall now. And it's just, it's full almost. I mean, they're trying to expand college. All the kids from Duluth that played D1 college, and it's just it's an amazing place to go. Just walk around and look at everything.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jared, because if you recall, if the timeline on the Heritage is this, Peterson Rink burned.
Yeah.
The Zamboni caught fire, and they lost the sheet of ice. Well, then there was this issue with the Kroc Center. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, and they were going to put up or donate money. I don't know if it was specifically hockey rinks or just for communities. And there was the hope that this Kroc Center would emerge where Peterson Arena was.
Right.
Well, it never happened. And then I believe Howie Hansen actually was talking to who owns the heritage site. What's
Alex
his name?
Giuliani.
Alex Giuliani, thank you. And there was some discussion there about maybe having a hockey rink there. Well, this was the area where they made all the cranes there.
Right.
And it was an industrial site.
Manufacturing, dirty.
Yeah.
I was there before they even broke ground.
And lo and behold, Alex and the others that were involved had the vision and went forward with it. And now we have this great facility, the Heritage Center out there at that old site where they used to make cranes. And
right.
The name is escaping me. What's the name of the old facility there? The old
Clyde Iron.
Clyde Iron. Thank you. So we're down to our final couple of minutes here. Again, we were hoping to have Kevin Smalley, head coach up at Cloquet, with us, but he had to work. So we'll reschedule him. In the meantime, final thoughts, Jer?
Well, I just say, because high school hockey's starting today, the tryouts start for the boys. I mean, if you haven't been down to the Heritage Center, get down there this year and see this place. It's an amazing job they did, and all the donated stuff that's been there, and the walls with the pictures. It's just everything. The banners on the outside, and it's just an amazing place.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, with that, the Minnesota Hockey Connection can be found online. We're on Facebook. Find us on Facebook and like us there. MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. Also on YouTube. Find our YouTube channel. We post all of our episodes there. As far as, or rather, there's other
episode
footage that you've taken over the years that we've put on there. You'll find that kind of entertaining. We want to thank the staff at PACT-TV. Thanks for their help. They produced this show in City Hall in downtown Duluth. And that's a wrap, Jer. We'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
Okay, see you at the rink.